Hey there, friends and enemies, Jopie here again, and today we got even more spoilers for the upcoming Spider-Man Magic the Gathering set. I know the general perception of this set has been hit or miss so far, but I personally like what we've seen, and I do think there are some very interesting cards that you should be looking to pick up once it does finally drop at the end of the month. Anyway, starting off, we have Imposter Syndrome. This is obviously the Spider-Man meme that everybody sees online all the time, pointing at themselves, and it's a 4 colorless, 2 blue enchantment that says whenever a non-token creature you control deals combat damage to a player, create a token that's a copy of it, except it isn't legendary. This is especially good in decks that have creatures that are able to get through very consistently and deal combat damage, especially if it's a legendary creature and you can make those non-legendary copies. So I do think this could be useful in some decks. It is a mythic, so it'll be somewhat hard to obtain, but also keep in mind it does cost 6 mana, so not the perfect card by any means. Anyway, next up we have Hunter's Insight. This is going to be in I believe German. It is a very good looking art here with Craven the Hunter. Hunter's Insight, if you didn't know, 2 colorless and a green. Choose target creature you control whenever that creature deals combat damage to a player or planeswalker. This turn, draw that many cards. Not a bad card there. Then we have the Terminus of Return. This is actually the Soul Stone, but for Magic the Gathering Arena. Same thing with Cross of the Swarm as 1. This is going to be alternate version of the Spider-Punk card, and it's going to be for Magic the Gathering Arena. So very similar, slight changes to make them arena appropriate. Then we have Agent Venom, and this is one I was really looking forward to. I do love Agent Venom in the comics. 2 colorless and a black for a 2/3 that has Flash and Menace. Whenever another non-token creature you control dies, you draw a card and you lose 1 life. This is really good for card draw. Not a bad option there for sure, especially whenever you need to make sure you draw a lot of cards. Black doesn't have a whole lot of card draw, so that's one that could be very, very useful. Then moving on, we have some other cards as well that I think are pretty cool. Like, this is the regular version of Agent Venom. That was the full art. Now we have Flash Thompson, Spider-Fan. This is pretty funny. Obviously, he's a 2/2 with Flash. Costs 1 colorless and a white. Whenever Flash Thompson enters, choose 1 or both. He can heckle, so you tap target creature, or you hero worship to untap target creature. Not a bad little combo there. This is uncommon, so it's not going to be the best card, but it is pretty solid overall. Peter Parker's Camera. This one actually looks very good, especially at 1 mana. This artifact enters with 3 film counters on it. Tap 2 mana and tap it to remove a film counter from this artifact. Copy target activated or triggered ability you control. You may choose new targets for the copy. And again, only 3 usages for an artifact, which is rare, but to cost only 1 mana to put it on the field, especially we've seen with cards like Tezzeret, you could get this out very easily and be able to copy your abilities. So if you're trying to copy abilities or activated or triggered abilities, then this is a very good option, especially at low cost early on. I think this is going to be a card a lot of people are going to be searching for just to add to a variety of different types of decks. Interdimensional Web Watch. This costs 4 colorless and is an artifact as well. When this artifact enters, exile the top 2 cards from your library. Until the end of your next turn, you may play those cards. So if you want to hold cards for another turn, if you are essentially using a deck that likes to cast multiple spells in 1 turn, this can be very, very useful. You can also tap it to add 2 mana of any combination of colors. Spend this mana only to cast spells from exile. So essentially you can drop this and then the next turn you can tap it for 2 mana in order to cast those exiled spells. And then you can also use that 2 mana to cast other exiled spells as well. So a nice wombo combo that I think could be pretty interesting. Set up some unique combinations for sure. Then we have Beast Within. This is a awesome looking art card. In my opinion, that's the Dr. Lizard. So it looks very, very good. Beast Within is 2 colorless and a green. Doc Connors over here looking pretty sick. Destroy target permanent. Its controller creates a 3/3 green beast token. Fine card, but overall I just like the art and I want to add that to my decks for sure. Terminate, again, you've got Spider-Man versus Carnage, and then it's a black and a red to destroy target creature. It can't be regenerated. I think that's very sick. This art is another one that I will be getting and adding to some of my decks as well. Ezekiel Sims, Spider Totem. This is a 4 colorless and a green for a 3/5 with reach. At the beginning of combat on your turn, target spider you control gets +2/+2 until end of turn. This is especially good if you are creating a spider focused deck, which this set is really going to lean into quite a bit. Rent is due. 1 white mana for an enchantment. At the beginning of your end step, you may tap 2 untapped creatures and or treasures. If you do, draw a card. Otherwise, sacrifice this enchantment. So you have to use this every turn. So you need to make sure you're in a position to tap creatures and or treasures consistently. Otherwise, it is not going to be all that useful, to be honest. And I do think it's one of those cards that I probably wouldn't use. The drawbacks are not great, but for only 1 mana, it is not all that insane. Then we have a Web of Life and Destiny. This one is for 6 colorless and 2 green for an enchantment. It is also mythic. You can convoke, so your creatures can help cast a spell. Each creature you tap while casting the spell pays for 1 or 1 mana of that creature's color. So if you tap green, obviously you can use it for green mana. If you have tokens, this could really be effective to take care of the 6 mana. At the beginning of combat on your turn, look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may put a creature card from among them on the battlefield. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. So this could be very, very useful, especially if you're just trying to get out some very big creatures consistently in the end game. I think that could be very valuable. Again, very expensive unless you have, again, a token deck or a way to get a lot of creatures on the field at one time very early on. And that would essentially allow you to convoke down the total mana cost of that card. Could be very interesting. That's one for green. Obviously, you like to have a bunch of big creatures in your deck. That is a card that I think a lot of people are going to be looking forward to. Then we've got Radioactive Spider, 1 green mana for a spider with reach and death touch. Faithful Bite for 2 mana. Sacrifice this creature, search your library for a spider hero card and reveal it. Put it into your hand, then shuffle. Activate only as a sorcery. This is a good way to essentially ensure that you do get a spider hero creature, specifically one that you are likely to be able to cast early on into your hand. If you're running the spider combo spider hero deck, this could be one that I think would be pretty interesting. Again, I like this art a lot, although this art goes pretty hard as well. I like the art of the set overall. A nice combination of what we've seen in the comics, and then also some new stuff that I think looks very good and kind of fits thematically a little bit. Then we have Spider-Man Heroic Horde. So this is a 1 colorless and a green for a 2/3 legendary spider hero. It's got web slinging of 4 colorless and 2 green. You may cast a spell for 4 colorless and 2 green if you also return a tapped creature you control to its owner's hand. When Spider-Man enters, if they were cast using web slinging, you gain 3 life and create 2/2/1 green spider creature tokens with reach. So essentially you can cast this for a lot of mana. I don't know if that's necessarily worth it. I think that's going to be too expensive more often than not. But as we've spoken about before, if you are looking to create a spider deck, if you're trying to go wide, maybe this will be effective. Especially because for a 2/3 for 2 mana, it's not that expensive to just cast normally and then use web slinging later on. But I just don't think 3 creatures for 6 mana is going to be worth it, especially because you have to return a tapped creature you control to its owner's hand. So unless you take control of an opponent's creature or something like that, I don't know. There are ways to make it work. I just don't know if that's the best card overall. The one that I'm most looking forward to trying out is going to be Web of Life and Destiny. I do think Interdimensional Web Watch is another that I'll be trying to pick up. But overall, I think some solid options. Agent Venom looks pretty good. Again, there's a lot of these that I will probably collect mostly for the art. And while I'm at PAX, or sorry, MagicCon Atlanta, I'm going to try to pick up as many of these as possible. Let me know which cards that you've seen so far, especially in the ones we talked about today, you're most looking forward to trying to snag, or if there's any that you are absolutely going to be building around in the future. Let me know down below. Like the video as always, comment, subscribe, have a good one, and I'll catch you all later.